MPN's Power Player is sponsored by ZDMS Dealer Management System, the heart of technology in your dealership and the engine that drives productivity and profitability. Schedule a demo today at zdms.com.
Hey everybody, Evan Laux here for Motorcycle Powersports News. Welcome to another episode of Power Players. Today we're joined by Johnathan Aguero. He's with Blackpurl and he's all the way in from Denver today. So Johnathan, thanks for joining with us.
Thanks for having me.
And Johnathan, to the people who don't know your name, why don't you start by telling us just a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
Absolutely. Well, my background, I started out in a small town, a water tower a few blocks away, cows, 4-H. But from the beginning, I was interested in technology, and I started a computer repair company when I was 16.
Wow, okay.
Ever since then, I've been into it. I worked up through Dominion, Affinitive, some automotive-focused companies, and then made the switch over to the powersports industry about 7 years ago.
Was powersports something that you were interested in as a kid? Did you have ATVs, motorcycles, anything like that?
We didn't have as many as I wanted, but my friends did. And yeah, that's when it started. Whenever you got, the fields in Colorado, nothing in them, and some toys, you tear that up.
So Johnathan, you've noted that you're kind of a student of retail technology, and obviously the customer is the most important part of retail. How does that affect the customer experience?
Great question. A couple of elements to this. Number one, customers want to have very few delays in getting the information they need.
Right.
And so the ability of a person who's behind a counter, a retail counter, to quickly and easily give information, that's a key element of a good customer experience. Part of it's the knowledge, part of it's the systems that are in play. Another key element is customers want to have the choices or the varieties of their merchandise available to them in a convenient way. And that's where the ability of a manufacturer, like Harley-Davidson, take their Canadian region. They have the same retail systems throughout the entire network. And so their merchandise and parts sales are the most efficient of any region in the world, certainly as the last information that I saw. And it's because all of the locations talk to each other. They know which merchandise needs to be sent to which warehouses and suggested to which dealerships. And that allows the customer to have the choices that they want in stock and available. So, that's a second key element. Part of it's the people that are helping customers being really knowledgeable, having quick access to information. And then, of course, it's inventory availability as well.
Yeah. Again, from AIM, a number that was brought up at the kind of council meeting there, 95% of sales at powersports dealerships start online. People want to research what they're coming for, but then after that, it's on the phone. They go into the business, and they need that dealer management software to kind of get that sale started.
Yeah, it's true. There's this, and I didn't come up with this, but there's this saying, you want to put a fence around your herd. And part of putting a fence around your herd, meaning your customer base, those customers that you've earned that like you, part of it is creating that good in-person software experience for your team so your team can quickly and easily inform the customer.
Yeah.
Part of it is allowing your customer to interact with you online. As you referred to, 95% of transactions are going to start online. And so if that's the case, you need to make sure that your website is going to attract them and pull them in, that you're taking advantage of e-commerce trends. There's a lot of options there. Where dealership software comes between both of those is that dealership software is going to track all your inventory, and it's going to synchronize it to your e-commerce site. It's going to synchronize it to your ARI website, your Dealer Spike website, whatever it might be. And so your customers can stay with you and still have that online journey. So that's a key element.
And again, it's that kind of talking back and forth from the different platforms, the different partners, and the different, digital systems you're using at the dealership.
Yeah. I mean, if your staff don't talk, then there's inefficiencies. If your systems don't talk, same thing.
Now, we're going to jump right into Blackpurl and dealer management software. And I want to ask you kind of a big question to start here, but what does the future hold in store for shop tech and, dealership tech in general?
Man, I think the future is going to get easier. Now, you might say, well, that doesn't look like it's going that way. But the fact is that as technology matures it gets more and more usable for regular people.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at phones, for instance, my parents have iPhones. When the first BlackBerry came out, do you think those same people would have adopted it? Probably not.
Nope.
And so our thought is, with Blackpurl, our dealership management platform, we have specifically used these principles to make it easier to learn, easier to use, and get the same job done. So that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about the future.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely accessibility is the word that comes to mind there. And listed on your website, you have powerful dealership management software that anyone can use. Could you tell us a little bit about accessibility when it comes to Blackpurl and dealer management software?
Yeah, absolutely. So traditional dealership software, you need a server, or it's server-based software that's just hosted online. It's very Windows 95 reminiscent, and usually there's a big training period. With Blackpurl, we wanted it to be accessible from anywhere. I noticed that you have a Mac. I've brought my Mac too, and if you're a dealership running Blackpurl, you can access it anywhere using a PC, a Mac, a tablet. And so for Blackpurl, the first thing is to make it really flexible and, like you said, accessible from anywhere in any situation. So we'll be out and about. If we're at, say, an industry event, customers will come up to us and say, hey, guess what? I sold 3 bikes while I was here. And while I don't recommend multitasking, it's pretty cool that Blackpurl allows you to do that.
Can you, as far as all the features that you offer through Blackpurl, are all of those available from PC to phone to tablet?
Great question. I'd say right now, the phone access is probably 15% and growing. So when we say touch-friendly, the whole thing's touch-friendly, but really it's designed for a tablet on up for about 85% of it. We're going to take that 15% to 100 in the future.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the importance of integration with other partners? I know you list those on your website. How does that all come full circle with Blackpurl, and how do those other partners kind of affect the features you offer?
Yeah, it's a good question. We think the future is really connected. Actually, our tagline is simple, powerful, and connected. And that not only speaks to the accessibility that we just talked about, but also the connectivity to partners. We think that the future offers more opportunity for partnership, not less. So at Blackpurl, we connect consciously with all of the website providers in the space, and we allow you to use, in contrast with the traditional systems on the market, mainstream accounting platforms like QuickBooks Online, the most popular cloud-based accounting platforms in the world. Blackpurl is also the first dealership management software to connect to Shopify and allow you to truly share your e-commerce inventory with your brick-and-mortar inventory. So, I think that is the way the future is going, is people want to be able to buy and see information online more than ever before. So I think, online connectivity is part of it. And then eventually we are working towards a future when every aspect of the dealership is going to talk to one central system.
Definitely. Now, guys, before we get into our next question, we know many of you watching live are engrossed in the power sports industry, lifestyle. A lot of you work for dealerships across the country. ZDMS is dealership software that offers both productivity and profitability. Watch this to see how it can help you.
As many of you know, taking physical inventory is something you do once, maybe twice a year, and sometimes you avoid it altogether. With large quantities of parts, accessories, chemicals, tires, and various other merchandise throughout your store, it's not a simple task to complete. There is a better solution. A solution that gives you the ability to cycle inventory counts anytime without disruption to your business. That solution? ZDMS RFID Physical Inventory. With RFID tags placed on inventory, you can cycle counts or conduct physical inventory with the RFID handheld scanner by simply pulling the trigger and walking around your dealership. RFID scanners do not require line of sight, so counters don't need to bend down under partitions, climb shelves, or position items to be visually seen to be counted in most cases. Contact your ZDMS representative to learn more about RFID physical inventory and how ZDMS is the only dealer management system in the power sports industry building the technology your dealership needs.
So Johnathan, back to DMS. When you're looking at the modern dealership, a lot of DMS systems and software, they're not designed to fit what the modern day dealership is doing. How does Blackpurl, as it's software based, how does it fit the needs of the modern dealership?
Excellent question. Today, I think that dealerships want software that's going to allow them to help customers quickly. When you look at a company like Walmart, someone who's been really successful, love them or hate them, they are obsessed with the point of transaction. And they work their way backwards for everything else. And that's what Blackpurl allows a dealership to do. You know, the dealership of the future is going to focus more on retention than those of 20 years ago. You give a good experience, you get more money out of that customer while they're here in a good way, and they're happy to spend it. And you get more return business in the long run. And so part of accomplishing that is giving them a really solid experience from the start. And that's what Blackpurl allows you to do, is to just have a very simple interface so that you're focused on what you do best, which is, you know, doing business in the powersports space. And then the little details like collecting information, looking things up, that's made so much easier. That's what you get.
As far as the different features Blackpurl offers, how do those reflect the different departments of a dealership?
Yeah, you know, a Blackpurl user is going to want to be able to run their parts department, their service department. They're going to want to be able to run, obviously, their sales department to quote inventory, manage inventory, see all those costs. And the financial folks are going to want to see what all the numbers do. And so, you know, we think right now you have a choice in this industry. Do you want to go with traditional software that's going to, you know, take you back 15 years? Or do you want to be in a future-friendly situation where your software connects to everything else? That's where we're headed.
And you might have answered the question a little bit there, but, you know, looking ahead, digital retailing has been a thing for the past, you know, 2 decades. But as we can see, it's always changing. What do you see coming in like the near future, maybe even a decade from now? What's on the horizon there?
You know, it depends on who you ask, but based on the way things are going, the whole Internet of Things thing is going to be a bigger part of powersports. Fact is, in 10 years, you might be rolling your bike into a shop and there's built-in sensors that talk to a sensor in the garage, and it tells their computer system everything about the current status of that unit. You know, I saw in your showroom here today, one of your studios, there's a setup of the coach technology where you roll over it and it measures your tread depth. We think in the long term, devices are going to talk to each other a lot better. You know, you think in the far, far term, this sounds like science fiction, but
yeah,
we think that augmented reality, you know, Apple, when we're recording this, Apple just came out with these augmented reality glasses.
Goggles,
yeah, for goggles, thank you, for $3,000, right? And in the future, you might have your mechanic out there with some goggles on, and it allows them to virtually see inside the bike to see what's going wrong. And so there's a lot of futuristic technologies, but to bring it back to the very near term, on the way here today, I stopped at a gas station to buy some gum. When I put it down on the counter, turned out that there's a device above it, registers what you have, automatically pulls it up on a screen. So instead of needing to talk to anyone, you just put in a card. I think that, you know, the jobs that we have working with people, working with the machines, they're going to be safe for a long time into the future, but we will have technology that allows our same team to get more done, to get more of the checkout process done automatically. So I think the automation connectivity of devices to each other is going to be a big part of the dealership future.
It's definitely interesting to see that progression, because, you know, we were just at AIM Expo a couple months ago, and they were talking about how, you know, just in general, the powersports industry is kind of lagged behind automotive in terms of, you know, digital retailing and all these different services and connectivity, but we're starting to close that gap. It's getting a lot closer. And to your point, there's some crazy technology out there. And, you know, just to end it with kind of a wild question here, everybody's talking about AI. When will AI come to steal our jobs? How do you see that being implemented into this industry in any way?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, they do say millions of jobs will be lost in the next 10 years. You know, something kind of fun here. I have a quote. I asked ChatGPT, and if you haven't heard of it, Google it, ChatGPT. It's the artificially intelligent chatbot. It's not maybe self-aware like in the movies, but it talks like a human. You can ask it anything. It's passed the bar exam. It's passed the MBA exam at Wharton. Well, I asked it what the future holds for shop technology. And here was the response. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I thought this was pretty interesting that a computer is saying this. It said, First, you can expect a deep level of digitization and automation. This means that the very tedious manual processes will be automated, which will not only increase efficiency but also reduce error. But automation doesn't mean replacement of humans. I thought this was the most interesting part. Instead, it will enable our technicians to focus more on critical thinking, problem solving, and engaging with customers, the tasks that humans excel at. So, straight from the horse's mouth, we're still going to be needed.
That's a great response because I know a lot of people are scared about it. It's kind of 50-50 split down the middle. People are excited, but they're scared at the same time. But to your point, that answer, kind of reinforces the fact that AI is there to kind of, speed up the medial tasks. Like we still need the creative processes and the workmanship. So that's great to hear from ChatGPT there. Jonathan, great discussion we just had. Is there anything more you want to share to our audience, about the powersports industry in general, dealer management software, Blackpurl, anything before we head out here?
Yeah, maybe one more thing. If you run or manage part of a powersports or motorcycle dealership, then you've got a lot to organize. Some of this future that we talk about is here now. And what that is there's today dealership tools like Blackpurl's dealership management platform that will allow you to get the same job done with less time, with less manual remembering. So some of that is here now. If you have thought about software to organize your dealership, next generation dealership management platform, feel free to look into it more. There's some great options, including Blackpurl.
Great. Yeah, DMS, like you said, it quickens up processes. That's more time you can be in the service shop, getting other projects done. Jonathan, thanks for coming down. Again, you had a long flight from Denver, so we really appreciate you being in the office today.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, again, make sure you're checking out Blackpurl. Again, their dealer management software. Make sure they're checking out everything they're doing there. And again, thanks for watching another Power Players episode, and make sure you're checking out MPN for more great motorcycle and power sports content. Thanks, guys.